You're listening to Beyond Insights, your go-to podcast for all things accounting, business, and technology.
From cybersecurity and AI innovations to sustainability and work-life balance, we've got you covered.
We host insightful guests from different backgrounds, industries, and locations all around the world.
From this diversity of thought, we aim to find solutions to some of our most pressing business problems.
Thank you for tuning in. Let's dive right in and go beyond insights.
Hi everyone, and thanks for tuning in to Beyond Insights. On this week's episode 25, we're going to be tackling small business finances. My guest for the day is Lauren du Plooy, a cloud accountant for owner-managed businesses. Lauren is the COO at Rae Associates, a cloud accounting practice based in Johannesburg, South Africa. It is a family-run accounting practice, and they provide specialized advice and guidance typically to small and medium-sized enterprises with solutions for any type of industry, with a particular interest in digital creatives. Lauren is an Intuit trainer and also part of the Writer Network. I'm really excited to be chatting to Lauren today and hope you enjoy this week's episode. So interested to chat to you today, Lauren. I think we've got a lot to unpack in the time that we've got with one another, and hopefully it adds some value to our listeners. So my first question, if we just jump right into it, is what are some of the most common challenges that you see amongst small business owners?
So definitely I'll give you the top three. But number one is definitely cash flow management, how to manage money, how to count the pennies and make every one of them actually count. Mm-hmm. And one of the biggest things that we see a lot with our clients is the understanding of their financial statements. So we spend a lot of time with any of our new clients that come on board, teaching them how to read the numbers and how to understand them. A lot of business owners and directors, they have no idea what a balance sheet actually means. What those numbers represent in an income statement, what your GP actually stands for. So it's really just about empowering them with knowledge. But I would definitely think that they are scared of the numbers, and I think it's just because they don't understand them.
Yeah, it's overwhelming, I suppose, when you're a small business owner. You've already taken so many risks to start your business in the first place, and you don't necessarily recognize the ramifications of all of those other things that come with creating or starting a new business.
Correct. And I also think that sometimes small business owners especially try to be the jack of all trades. Yeah. And a lot of times that can actually be a detriment to your business because you might not be tech savvy. You might not be good with numbers and budgeting and finance. So it's rather just to partner with professionals, look at what kind of softwares are out there, because otherwise you're going to battle.
Yep. And cash is tight in the beginning, especially. So I imagine
cash is always tight for small businesses. So it's not just in the beginning. And I think when you're working with small businesses, you really get to understand that every penny does count. Yeah. So it matters where you buy your stationery from and what kind of a office food budget you've got. Yeah. And, do you rent or own? So you really have to be mindful of all the little things, and it's not just like a blanket approach. I think that every small business is going to be different and what their needs are. But cash flow is definitely top priority. Yep. They have to understand money coming in, what they're spending, because ultimately that's where the decisions are based.
Yeah, and managing expectations on a daily basis, I suppose, comes with it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, of course, you've worked with a lot of small businesses over the course of your career. There must be at least one memorable experience or story that you've got to share with us.
Oh my God, I've got lots. It's actually funny. I met with one of my clients even just this morning, just going through his financials, and he just said to me that it's been the most incredible experience to be able to learn what those numbers mean and actually question me. And he picked up that one of the interests on one of the accounts hadn't been accounted for correctly. And I was like, Graham, can you believe you picked that up? And he was just blown away. And that's been about 6 months of working with him just to make sure that he's empowered enough to actually question. Yeah. And I think that's what the point is.
That's what it's all about.
Correct,
absolutely.
Is that you want them to feel confident. So that's one of them. I'm trying to think if there's any others that's relevant to like cash flow. No, I mean, we've been incredibly lucky with the kind of clients that we've got. So I've had comments about how they've never had a consultant behave like a shareholder. And for me, that's what partnering with small businesses should feel like.
A vested interest in their well-being.
I want to feel like I'm invested in every single one of my clients' businesses. I want them to feel like they can come to me, that we must be their sounding board for any decision making. And I think running your own business, because we run a small business.
Yes.
Our accounting firm's not big. We're not large. We're a team of 10. And sometimes running a small business is really lonely.
Yeah.
So I just think that partnering with people, because you might not have the funds or the budget to have your own accounting firm or have your own HR department or have your own IT person in-house. So you want to make sure that the ecosystem that you're building around your company is really going to be there to support you. And I think that that's a really big learning curve for small business owners, is just to reach out for help.
Yeah. So how would you say the needs of the small business differs from larger organizations?
I think that you definitely need a lot of external support. So you wouldn't have big departments like what I spoke about earlier. So a lot of the time, a lot of it's going to land on your shoulders. And I think that sometimes small businesses don't realize how cost effective it is to actually outsource.
Yeah.
So it might be cheaper to have a digital marketing company run your digital marketing for you than to employ somebody full time. So I think that could be really different. And also, I'm going to say it again, for a small business, every cent that you spend has to make a difference to your bottom line. Whereas a big company might not mind who they're getting their stationery from, or can they employ the office cleaner 5 days a week instead of 2. But when you're looking at a small business, all those kind of decisions matter. Also, for small businesses, I find that they have to be very strategic in their decisions to grow. So a lot of the times you want to make sure that you have looked at your cash flow and planned properly, because otherwise if you grow too quickly and you don't have the foundation steps in place, you could really fall over.
Yeah.
So it's very different working with small businesses. I also find that small businesses are really owner managed. When you start dealing with bigger corporations, there's levels of, and for me, I really want to, if I'm going to be invested, I want my client to be invested.
Absolutely.
So we love owner managed businesses.
Love that. I suppose as a small business owner, you become a jack of all trades, but it is important for you to also recognize, if I've never done any marketing or all that sort of thing before, is it going to take me 10 hours to learn the skill and produce something that might be average or not as great as the time it would have cost to just, outsource the service and get a really decent, high quality product? I suppose that's where the understanding or the trade-off comes in.
Yeah. You let people do what they're good at.
Yeah.
And recognize also the talent in your team, which I love. So we work a lot of our small companies that we work with will promote people within their pool.
Yes.
So you really want to make sure that you are recognizing everybody's talent. And we actually learned that in our company recently. We brought in like a business coach that was helping us with our team. See, even we can learn. And we did this like aptitude personality test, and he picked up the most incredible things about my team. I didn't even know.
Yeah.
And we just made really small strategic changes, and it's blown me away. The difference that it's seen. So we wouldn't have been able to do that if we didn't bring in somebody external that specialized in that. So I really think that it's important to, instead of when you wear multiple hats, you are giving, let's say, 25 sections, 20% of what you could. But if you just focused on one section, which is growth or sales, and you brought in professionals to worry about the others, and each section is getting 100%, and that's amazing.
Absolutely. And I suppose the role you kind of play as well is that objectivity and that sounding board to the small business owner to be like, you're nuts. You should be doing things a bit differently, and have like that moment of realization.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you're right.
Absolutely. And I think it's also, we're lucky because we work with, let's say, 60 or 70 small businesses across various industries. So we can give you insight as to what's worked with other small businesses. So, don't come to me and say I'm implementing a 50,000 Rand a month marketing plan. And I'll be like, no.
Not necessary.
Let's wind that back. So, and I also think, we love the digital space. So we work with a lot of digital marketing companies. So that means that I have amazing insight in that industry. So it's just be smart in your decision making with who you partner with as well. Yeah,
absolutely. What would you say some of the common misconceptions are amongst small business owners with regards to financial management?
That it's not important. You know how many businesses we still see that really don't have control over their finances at all. There's a lot of businesses that still do the old way of like, They'll send their accountants at the end of the year all their bank statements and all their slips.
They'll capture everything.
And they know. No, I know what's going on in my business. I say, okay, what's your turnover been for this year? He's like, turnover? What's turnover? It's turnover the invoices. So I just think that it goes back to what I was saying before about how people are really scared of the numbers. So we've seen how technology's changed so much in the last even 10 years. I mean, it changes daily, but I think that if people saw what technology is giving us and the tools that it's giving us and how easy it is to use.
And accessible.
Correct. And that you don't have to be a programmer or an accountant even to be able to read financial reports. I think that for me, that is the biggest misconception. Number one, that it's not important. And number two, it is important, but I can't manage it on my own or I'm not going to be able to understand it. What else? That planning is not important, that I don't need to look at my reports. I mean, some clients would be like, oh no, just, when you do financial semi-reports. And I'm like, you need to be looking at that weekly, monthly. You need to know what's going on. So I think maybe they just, don't understand how important that is. That's what drives your decisions in your business. You shouldn't be deciding anything until you've looked at your management reports.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So planning is obviously very important, and we've spoken quite a bit about cash flow and cash flow management. Would you have one tip that's kind of universally applicable to all small businesses, regardless of the industry that they're in, about how to optimize that cash flow?
Well, number one is make sure that you're doing it.
Yeah.
A lot of companies don't manage their cash flow. And no, I mean, I think that they do. Look, small business owners really hold a lot of the information in their head. And I know because I do it in my own company. I had to put a lot of our SOPs together this month. So I'm big on this, like you've got to actually share your knowledge, because if he walks out the door and gets hit by a bus, is somebody in that business going to be able to run it or are they just going to close the door? So I think it's important to be mindful about that. So just to make sure that you're documenting everything. And that cash flow shouldn't be something that you're doing when you are battling with your cash flow. I think that managing your cash flow in advance is really important because it can also teach you strategies to save. So we had a big thing now. It was provisional tax in August. And we work with our clients throughout the year about, if they need to save, if they're making a lot of profit, please to put money away. Because a lot of times it'll come in August and we're like, right, we're submitting your return. And you have to pay 200,000 rand, 350,000 rand, it doesn't matter. And they're like, oh, no, we can't do it.
Out of the blue, not prepared.
Correct.
It's scary.
So that's the thing. And I think that if you're prepared, that's what it gives you. There are no surprises. You don't want to have a surprise that you owe SARS 200,000 rand.
No,
you want to just happily pay it. Well, I don't know if we'd ever happily pay SARS, but at least you can just have the funds to do it and not be stressed. So I think for me, cash flow really gives you peace of mind and it gives you control over what's going on in your business. And I think that that's really important.
I suppose on the other side of the coin, not being surprised by unexpected expenses like a SARS payment. But on the other side of that, it's also if you do have a budget and you haven't exceeded the budgets, it can be rewarding in itself because you can recognize, okay, cool, I did a bit better than what I expected initially.
Absolutely. That's why I love the budget versus actual reports. You want to be on the other side of that. You don't want to be below your budget. And I think that it can be I love that incentive. Your staff, December's coming up. You want to have a good, end of year party. Well, this is what our sales budget is. Let's smash it. We can do something really great in December.
Next year, let's do even better than what we did before.
Yeah. So money drives small businesses a lot. It really incentivizes the business owner and the team as well because it has that flow through effect to the whole team.
Very motivating.
Yeah, exactly.
We touched on the role of technology earlier. How has that kind of changed and, what role does that play to the small business owner in today's landscape?
I think the biggest change is that it's put this information in the lap of the business owner. Whereas before, you were always catching up their work. So unless you were on site doing their work every day, their accounts were only captured at the end of the month. They would send you their bank statement and you catch everything up and you send the reports and it's always on the previous month. So it's always backwards. What technology nowadays is giving us is like all of our clients that are on cloud accounting have the app on their phone.
Nice.
So they'll be able to look today, who owes their money, who can they chase, what's happening, who do they need to pay tomorrow.
Live.
Correct. It's live. And for us, the biggest game change is, I'm sorry, I have to pun Syft, but it is the truth. When Syft launched the live when you send the reports.
Live views,
yeah,
yes.
Thank you, live view. We implemented it that every single one of our management packs or any of our reports that go out as the live view, because that means that you're literally collaborating with your clients on this live view.
Yep.
So just for your listeners who don't know, the live view is when clients can look at it online and actually make notes and tag people, and you can go back and answer those questions. That was a game changer for us.
Extremely collaborative.
Correct. Normally you'd have to get in a room with like 10 people and have to go through all these questions. It was like hours out of our day. So this really, it keeps people, interested. It keeps them motivated. They're not going to sit in a boardroom scared to ask questions. So
and worried about whether you're even looking at the right version
Correct.
of the report.
And also, what if my question sounds stupid? And I'm like, there's no such thing as a stupid question. So this, I think it gives us the most incredible collaboration. But I also think you got to be pretty careful to still maintain a personal relationship with your clients, because what technology gave us is they really gave us a computer screen between our relationship with our clients.
Yeah.
So we were used to going out and working on the client's property and building relationships and seeing people, and it was amazing. And then it went to being remote. And I know that COVID practically did that to us.
Changed everything.
We had changed about 2 years before, but we were still seeing some clients.
Yeah.
And then COVID happened. And I think we all got really comfortable sitting behind the computer screen. So just my advice is, and it's in any industry, not only as an accountant, I just think if you are in the service industry and you're trying to build relationships with people, just pick up the phone, go for coffee, even once a quarter, pop in, say hi. So, technology's given us a million positives, and that's just one thing. It's not a negative. It's just from a personal approach, make sure that you're still maintaining that personal relationship.
Absolutely. So important.
Yeah.
So when you're onboarding a new client, and you can see, obviously, they're approaching you because they need assistance with their financial management.
Yeah.
How would you go about consulting and educating them if they have absolutely no cooking clue?
So, onboarding is a huge thing because we are quite, not fussy, because that sounds egotistical. So it's not that at all. It's more just about, are we going to be a good fit? We might not be a good fit for everyone, and they might not be a good fit for our team. So as I said previously, we really want to work with people who are like owner managed and invested in the business. So I want to make sure that if I ask a question, I'm going to be able to get an answer. I want them as invested as we are to make sure their accounts are right. So our onboarding process is very detailed. We do like scope meetings where we talk a lot about their pain points. What are they looking for? Why are they trying to move? What problems can we solve for them? And then we spend a lot of time with our team building out a retainer or a package that's going to really work for them. We build an app stack. So we make sure that we're going to be offering them an ecosystem of apps that is really going to work for their business and optimize what they're looking for.
Yes.
And then we sit down and we run through our proposals, and we're pretty good at closing. So we get a lot of hours because we invested, and it really makes a difference. We're a family business. So we want our clients to sort of feel like they're part of the family. And then, we spend a lot of time coaching the client and the team on how to work together. And I always say to my team, you've got to train your clients. Like if you're constantly on the phone chasing your clients for documents, we're doing something wrong.
Yeah, because they don't understand the importance of sending that to
you. So it is just about training. Set out expectations right in the beginning, which is exactly what we do. And then we spend a lot of time training them, not only on our procedures, but also on the software. So we want to make sure that we're implementing Syft, and we spend a lot of time designing the reports specific to the company that we're working with. But we don't want them to just be like, we're getting a PDF report every month, like management reports, and that's it. Because then why would we be using Syft? We could be sending it from anywhere. We could just be sending it from Xero or QuickBooks. So for us, we then give them Syft training, so they can come in and also pull their own reports and dashboards. And so we spend a lot of time teaching them the tech, and because we don't want them to be scared of it, obviously. And then, the consultant hits the ground running, and we have like check-ins, obviously the first week and the first month, and just, that's it.
Stunning. So a very bespoke approach to each new client that you take on, not a spray and pray. Well, this is what you're going to get. These are the expectations and the SLA across the board. It's got to be tailored
very specific
to their specific needs, which is really important. Love that.
It has to be, because we are not a blanket approach accounting firm at all. Our team is not like that. And I'm very particular on which consultant, I'll match to which company also,
Yeah.
because I think it's really got to be a good synergy.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Personality is quite
Correct,
important.
correct. But like there might be a client that, you know, I don't know, they don't run debtors, so that part of the business, you know, isn't important to them. They might. So we get to know the owners and the admin team in their business. I think it's important because we'll work a lot with them. We get to know them pretty well before we onboard them.
Nice.
Yeah.
Stunning. So
Yeah.
really, really close-knit and engaged in their operations on a daily basis.
Like I will be able to tell you probably every single one of my clients what their kids' names are.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it has to be
Yeah,
personal.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Agreed. And I
You
think,
see, I talk a lot about my daughter when I
Yeah.
arrived. Like for me, that's what our life is about. I
No.
don't want to just be another face in the room.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's not just business all the time.
Correct.
We're so integrated in our work, especially as a small business owner.
And for us and for you, you work with people's money.
Yeah.
There has to be a level of trust.
Absolutely.
You know, if we don't have a personal connection, are you going to believe me when I say go out and buy new tables for your office, you know, this month or whatever it is? We're not going to have that kind of relationship where you're going to trust my advice.
Yeah.
So I think it's really important.
We were chatting earlier about the accuracy of important or accurate bookkeeping. How important is that to?
Well,
a
it is
small
the
business
most important. And for me, that's where tech plays a huge role, because there's no room for error and I always say there's no gray area in accounting. It has to be correct. There's black and white. It's
Yes.
wrong, like it can't be wrong. Everything's got to balance. So I think technology, because of all the automation, really solves a lot of those issues for us. And Syft's been great with that because it's extracting the correct information from the accounting software. So there's no like manual integration that you have to do there. So you can trust that the figures that you're reporting to your clients are correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I suppose leveraging off technology as well, you're building efficiencies in their organization from day dot, which is invaluable.
Of course. And for us, it's also the automation has freed up a lot of time for us to actually start adding better value to our clients. So instead of being this like glorified data capture, which a lot of the time in the accounting and bookkeeping industry, that's what we were, we can now be like value adding.
Absolutely.
And just advise, you know, really good advice givers to our clients.
Trusted advisors and business
Correct.
partners as opposed
Correct.
to just bookkeepers
Correct.
or accountants.
Now we got the time to get involved
Yeah.
and go to the board meetings and answer these crazy questions and just, you know, be there instead of being stuck behind our computer. It's made a huge difference.
So what advice would you give to any new business owner who's just starting out?
I would say, network. Make sure that you're surrounding yourself by people that have the same vision that you do. It's really important. Reach out to people in your industry and don't be scared to ask for advice. So when cloud technology came out in South Africa, it was a really huge thing. I went to the first talk and somebody was talking about how ask other accountants how they price their services. And I was like, why would anybody share that? Now all we do is share our information. So for me, this being able to sit here with you and giving advice to small business owners, I love that somebody's going to benefit from that. So I just think as a small business owner, if you're a plumber, you know, reach out to other plumbers and see how they're doing things. If you're an accountant and you're not sure how to price your services, reach out to other accounting firms. Go to networking events. Don't be shy. Trust in yourself and just make sure that you're partnering with the right people.
I love that because there's almost an element of like cross-pollination that comes with it. You build this network, you know plumbers, you know creatives, you know architects, and you can kind of refer one another to
And I mean,
each other.
you know, not all accountants want to do technology, for example. So some accountants don't want to specialize in inventory software because that's a big one. But, you know, we might want to. So then we could partner with other accounting firms, and we do that a lot.
Yes.
So just network. I've said it before, running a business is really lonely. So you just want to surround yourself by people that understand you, that when you're having a bad day can lift you up. And it's just really important to have that ecosystem around you.
Absolutely. How would you say, or what would you say some of your tactics are to build trust amongst your clients?
Well, I think it is to under-promise and over-deliver.
It's always a good one in
them.
service industry.
And I think that, you know, you want to always be in touch with them. So there's nothing worse for me than like you send an email and you have to wait 2 days for a response. Like we respond our company policies within the same day.
Yeah.
So we're really big on communication. So I think that that's what it would be. It's a lot of meetings, even if they're online, that's fine, because we work with clients that aren't in Joburg or aren't in South Africa. So it's a lot of meetings. It's a lot of asking and sifting through the information and being like, you don't have to hide things from us, like, just forthcoming. And I just think we're quite a supportive group. So just to offer positive praise all the time and just be there and just, I think it's just
reassurance as well,
correct.
probably
Exactly.
a big part of that
Absolutely.
as well. It's not the end of the world.
Exactly.
Yes, we exceeded
We can
budget
save
this
this,
month,
it's
but we can
okay.
save here.
Exactly.
And I suppose that's how you gradually build that trust.
And it's pivoting. Exactly what you just said. Maybe we didn't reach budget, but this month you can already see the sales are up. So I think it's just keeping your hand on the pulse at all the time with the business owner, just knowing what's going on with the numbers, being able to answer questions and just offering support.
Stunning. What would you say the most rewarding aspect of your job is?
It's getting to know the most incredible people and just watching these companies succeed and watching them grow. And, even if they don't take our advice, that's absolutely okay. They might have had a better idea. And I just think, I say to my team all the time, we're really privileged to do what we do. People trust us. They put their companies in our hands. And we are just so lucky with the client. We've got clients that have been with us for 15 years, 16 years.
Amazing. That's a testament to the quality of service you guys offer.
It's been really amazing.
Tax planning, everyone's favorite. What are some of the common misconceptions or mistakes that you see small businesses making?
Yeah, one of the biggest mistakes, and I mean, everybody talks about this, is putting too many personal expenses through the business. So just trying to separate that as much as possible. If you are putting some personal expenses through the business, just make sure that they are explainable, like school fees are not explainable. So don't put those in, or that's going to go to your loan account. And I think it's just planning monthly. So don't wait. Don't wait till a month before provisional tax is due. We have tax conversations with our clients each month. If they've made a profit, we'll have a conversation with them. Let's put some money aside, or we'll plan, how to spend some money over the next couple of months. So just don't leave it to the last minute. Make sure that your figures are up to date always so that your tax planning can be correct. And one of my first clients that I ever did bookkeeping, he actually taught me this, but when I started with him, he had a VAT savings account and a tax savings account. And what he did with his savings is that anytime money came into the account, then it was 14% VAT. He took 14% of the payment that came in, and he put it in the VAT savings account. And every month, whatever profit that was, he put 28% in the tax savings. Now, the VAT, there was always a little bit extra there because it was only VAT on income. And it was never a problem to pay VAT, never a problem to pay tax because the money was there. And it just separated it because I say to clients, sometimes you don't realize that the VAT portion of your invoice is actually not your money. So we're like savings accounts for SARS. But in a small business, because you're running from one job to another, cash flow is very, very tight. So it's very easy to use that money that's sitting in your bank. So I think if you separate it, it might be a really good idea.
And be diligent and disciplined in not touching the money as tempting as it might be.
And don't get cross with SARS. It's not their fault.
It's life, right?
Exactly.
One of those inevitabilities.
It's adulting, right?
Absolutely. So you've just taken on a new client. You've produced a set of management accounts or financial statements for them, perhaps. What is the approach you take in explaining that and making it a bit more digestible to the small business owner?
Well, what I love about Syft is that your commentary on your reports have really taken that out of our hands quite a lot. We thought of a couple of things. We used to do videos and we used to write intro things, but we used to write this whole, I actually have a person on my team, Amelia, who's she's a fundi when it comes to writing these emails, but a feedback email explaining the financials. So you've had a growth or the expenses were too high, but this is why, and explaining the numbers. But when we implemented Syft, that's what it did for us. So I think we really teach our clients to make sure that they're reading the report summaries, and we get online with them and we make them go through it. So it's not about, here's your profit and loss, let's go through each line. It's about having a conversation. So it's learning about how to talk about the numbers. And we spend a lot of time doing that. And I normally do that for the first couple of months, and then my consultant will take over. But I think it's important for me as the business owner to also build that relationship with the client. So it's a very hands-on. Also, it might take us 3 months to build the kind of reports they're looking for, because each business is going to be different. They'll have different KPIs or different, reports that mean something. So, it's just about spending the time.
Absolutely. I think we could spend hours more chatting about all of these
we
questions.
Have a problem.
But thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you for having me. It's been great.
Lauren du Plooy, everyone. Thanks so much for joining, and we hope to see you next week.
Thanks for tuning in to the Beyond Insights podcast.
Please like and subscribe on whatever platform you're listening to right now.
And please share with any of your colleagues or friends or family members that you think might benefit from listening to this podcast.
That's all from us. Until next time, see you then.